Hello, truth seekers. Lawrence here, and welcome to Easy Enlightenment. So, to succeed in a spiritual enlightenment, one must need to stop pretending. That could be the start. Stop pretending that life is good. Stop pretending that I'm not afraid of anything. Stop pretending that you don't have the mental conflict. We gotta deny the situation. To start the journey, we gotta drop the pretense. Not realizing that the pretense itself is the ego self, coming out as a shield, not to show the weakness. The awakening journey is about being vulnerable, being open to oneself, not towards the world, but being open to yourself. And that itself is dropping the pretense. The ego self, always there to avoid the reality. This avoiding the reality is coming from our conditioning. It's our environment is doing the same thing. So that is normal. And we are that. The pretense attitude is normal. So we naturally fall into that trap. Being truthful doesn't lead anywhere in this world, especially outside when the truth is spoken, or when you walk on the truth, that environment, end up making you lonely. The environment push you away. Going with the world invites you. Going against the world, resists you. So, because of the, resisting, people drop the truth and end up with this pretense attitude to carry this layer and be part. And that's where the fun, drama, everything is there. People, fuels each other's ego with that pretense. So, we see this in the world, and that has become the lifestyle. Yes, you can, pretend and go by in your life, in the relative sense, but when you are walking towards the, truth, then it has to be dropped. We gotta drop the pretense attitude. Now, it's hard to drop the pretense because you have, made that pretense attitude a stubborn layer in you. Stubborn layer physically and mentally. And when we sit down to work on ourselves, we don't want to open up because there's so much stuff, so much, embarrassment, so much shame, so much guilt, so much drama within that opening up is tough for oneself. To see the truth, to be free from the nagging mind, the troubled mind, we have to acknowledge whatever we have and be okay with it. Acknowledging and investigating, We have to go through that phase of decluttering our lives going through the guilt, going through the shame, going through embarrassment, and so on. We cannot suppress those, those scenarios in our lives. And this is the thing. In the world, there are references that forget the past, just live in the moment. This kind of teaching is, further suppressing the mind that is carrying the drama, the guilt, the fear, the shame, the embarrassment. We can't suppress it if if we're seeking freedom. If you're forgetting the past, living the moment, that reference of spirituality, are you being able to free from your mind? Are you living the conflict-free life, at least within? Are you living fearlessly within, at least? If you ask yourself, no, there's always conflict, there's always fear, there's always drama. When we have to participate in the world, the drama comes in, the fight comes in. And when something happens, can you forget and be in the moment? Even you try to forget, try to anchor yourself in the moment, you can't. And you try to control your body, control your mind with that affirmation in your head. And in the spiritual, the outer spirituality, you see a lot of affirmation in the world. It's okay. This shall pass. Things happen for a reason. Be positive. All these things there. But is it helping you to forget? Notice how much you're trying to forget through the, control approach, and that itself is effort. It's unending effort, makes you tired, So it doesn't work. And that fight itself, that resisting, about forgetting the past itself, is also another ego self acting on it. Ego can make you seek for the freedom, and ego also make you maintain the struggle. The ego is contradicting, not realizing that the spiritual freedom is about dissolving the ego. So that's the process missing out, and because of that, we fail. The ego self itself is a pretense, and we must need to investigate the ego, to dissolve the ego. The real journey to be free is about dissolving the ego. It's about death of the ego. And this is where the ego resists to, resists to dissolve. And the ego self resists to dissolve is because our whole life is, it's that. The ego self is created from the place of experience. We go to the experience, we collect ideas from the experience, and the idea is prolonging in us, and eventually it ingrains in us as the preference because some of the experience is, life changing, and we see that idea as somewhat true or true, and dissolving that is dissolving the ego, and this is where we have a hard time letting go of the ego, dissolving the ego. So, and that's why we are anchored in the false and moving our life from that ingrained belief which is false, and we end up having this attitude of pretense because of the ego self, because of the ingrained belief. So, what I'm trying to say here is, if you want to be free from all the inner struggle, all the conflict, all the fear, all the inner pain, all the, basically the troubled inner world that you are living with, that can all go. And you can set yourself free. How? By not pretending anymore that your life is all good. Isn't it? You can pretend the world how fantastic your life is, how amazing. But deep down, there's a trouble. When you are having fun, you don't see the trouble. But when the fun is over, what you're left with? Trouble. When you're having fun, by the way, there's an idea already that you don't want to lose this fun. Lose the fun here means lose your attachment that is creating the fun, prolonging the fun, comfort. So not to lose the fun, the comfort, the safety, we do anything not to lose it. And who is doing that? The ego self. The ego self that don't want to lose the identification within and outside. And that itself is, against the spiritual path. So, acknowledging that, there's struggle, there's a pain, there's a fear in life. And the direct approach to overcome those struggles is by investigating why do I have this struggle in my life? But before we get there, here's a simple way to, simple way to be part of the inward journey. So we are talking about the pretense here, right? Pretending attitude here. Why am I pretending? That's it. That itself is investigating the mind. There is an attitude of pretending. Ask yourself, why am I pretending? Where is this coming from? Why? If you just sit with the why, you see the answer while you're pretending. Whatever answer comes in, use that answer to deepen the self-inquiry practice by asking, why is that important? And same way, the next answer, you ask why. Why do I have this? Why do I associate it with this? Why do I prolong this? Why? No matter what answer comes in, add the why to to deepen the inward work. Okay, so that is a simple way to create the inward journey to face the truth, and eventually you'll see the truth. So try that, see how far you can go back and tracing the mind today, and see what you can see from this work, how much layers you can see from this work. Okay, thanks for watching this video. Hope this helps. Take care for now. See you in the next video. Bye.